Welcome back, guys. So today we're gonna jump into a little bit of reaction video to Marvel's The Midnight Suns gameplay reveal that happened yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, I've already watched it, so this isn't a live reaction. This isn't pre-recorded either. I'm gonna watch it through with you guys so that way you can get. Basically, I was in the middle of recording this video, and I was having some very vitriol reactions to what I saw for no reason other than just I'll let the video play and we'll discuss and we'll get into it. Let me turn down the volume a little bit here because it's probably get really loud. But here goes gameplay trailer for Marvel's Midnight Suns by Firaxis Studios. These are the same people that did XCOM, the game XCOM, excuse me. So I had a feeling that that something bad was gonna happen when they announced that it was supposed to be an hour live stream, and we went 28 minutes. 30 minutes of that stream was pretty much just, you know, a countdown. Like we literally got about 20 minutes or so of actual talks. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Here goes the trailer for it.
Our nightmares have come for us, and she must awaken.
Okay, let me see if I can. No, the quality's already up there, so not sure why it looks so cheesy.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you gonna call? Marvel's Midnight Suns! What's up, everybody? My name is Joshua Yale, and yes, I know that wasn't the answer you were expecting, unless you've seen the big reveal of Marvel's new turn-based RPG game from Firaxis and 2K Games. The upcoming game features Earth's mightiest heroes teaming up with Earth's spookiest heroes to take on the supernatural forces of evil. But what you may have not seen is actual gameplay of Midnight Suns, and that's what we've got for you right here on IGN.
So I'm trying to figure out where he was viewing the teleprompter from there.
Footage of Midnight Suns and an
It's just
in-depth
weird.
breakdown from the developers on how the game mechanics work. So let's get to it with the gameplay revealed trailer for Marvel's Midnight Suns.
How long was I in that crypt?
I know where the sun rises.
Okay,
No more
games.
than a few centuries.
Centuries? And what of Lilith?
So this should have gave it away right here. This says contains a mixture of gameplay and cinematics. So
Until now.
I thought we were gonna get 15 minutes of gameplay or something like that for this. No, that's not what we're getting here.
Where the sun rises,
We got a lot of work to do.
know where the sun sets.
Now they're really amping this shit up with the music though, because yeah, the soundtrack on this shit. I'm like, I really want that soundtrack. The game I'm not so excited about anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I'm looking at some of the graphics on here, and they look very DC Unlimited from way back in the day. I don't know. So automatically you see that there's some card play inside the game. So the game seems to be a mix of, it's definitely a tactical RPG. If you haven't played any tactical RPGs before, I'd suggest taking a look at some of Larian Studios' works. They're currently the ones in development for the D&D, game. It's Baldur's Gate, basically. They're coming out with that game. I think it's already on Steam and pre-release or alpha release, but they also did Divinity Original Sin and some of the best tactical RPG elements in a game, in my opinion, in quite some time. Tactical RPGs have their place inside the community, and they can be a lot of fun. This one seems to mix some elements of cards inside the game, which seems weird to me. They promise no loot boxes, but it does seem weird to me that we're gonna have cards to play with. If you've played Magic Legends, I was part of the alpha test team for that.
Welcome back.
And I really don't know how to tell you how I felt about it. I was kind of
and we are
it was okay, but
gameplay explainer from the Firaxis team.
it was a little
walking through
weird.
Midnight
Basically,
Sun's
your
tactical
skills
RPG
are represented
gameplay
as
in much
cards,
greater
and you get
detail.
like a
This
random
won't just
hand
be
dealt to you of
Marvel's
like 6 to
XCOM, my
7
friend.
skills
Feast your
per,
eyes
and
on
then that
this.
allows you to interact in the environment where you're choosing from those skills. I'm not sure why the thought process is that this is more fun than me just having a preset skill on a cooldown. It is almost as if though it's this new mechanic to try to take away from the point and click feature of most RPG games, where you're just, I've got skills on a cooldown bar and I'm just clicking and rotating through skills. I guess this one seems to, this new ability seems to make it more. I didn't get it.
Side of the Marvel universe, packed with a deeply customizable tactical battle system that rewards clever thinking with superhero flair. An epic, supernatural story that brings you face to face against the demonic forces of the underworld. A deep role-playing experience where you get to live among Marvel legends and the first customizable original hero from the Marvel universe.
Yeah, so it was good to see that we basically get to customize our own hunter character, whether it's a male or female, and the features and the skillity build sets. Obviously, the game is probably more likely meant to be played as the female hunter character. I don't know who's necessarily going to jump on playing their hunter over playing some of the more iconic heroes, or what abilities they're going to give to your hunter character that will distinguish it from some of the Marvel characters that might join up in your team.
Master Chthon. Alongside her is her army of Lilith, demonic forces who carry out her twisted will with fanatical devotion. Pushed to the brink by her return, the Avengers desperately revive a dark power of their own, the Hunter, a legendary hero, forsaken child of Lilith, and the only one known to have beaten Lilith before. In Marvel's Midnight Suns, the player takes on the role of this new hero, who until recently lay peacefully in a centuries-long sleep, tucked away in a quiet crypt on the grounds of the Abbey, the secret headquarters of an organization known only as the Midnight Suns.
Just so now we know why it's not the Midnight Suns, it's the Midnight Suns.
Allowing you to live out your very own
For those of you that
adventure.
aren't aware, let me see if I can turn this down just a little bit more.
You won't be alone. Marvel's Midnight Suns.
The Midnight Suns is an actual team up that happened in Marvel, in the Marvel Knights comics. You basically, I'm gonna pause this real quick. You basically had the Marvel Knights, and you had the Marvel Knights comic book line, MK line, and you had the Marvel Comics line. And the Marvel Comics line, they kind of deviated in that the stuff that was happening inside the Marvel Knights line was definitely more gritty and adult in nature, and the stuff that was happening inside the Marvel Comics universe was something that, you know, appealed to a wider PG-13 fan base. It's weird saying PG-13 now, because the PG-13 we know today is not the same PG-13 that was then in the 90s and stuff like that, so it's a little bit different. But basically, I guess using the Midnight Suns moniker is a way to get the older crowd of comic book readers to lure in, because a lot of these characters that they have in the game, any of these Avengers besides Doctor Strange, yeah, none of those guys are part of the Midnight Suns. These are offshoot characters like Blade, Moon Knight, Hellstrom, Nico Minoru, if you want to call it that, you know, the Defenders, not street level people, Ghost Riders, Johnny Blaze and Dan Ketch, not necessarily, you know, Iron Man, definitely not fucking Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel would have never been involved in this. You know, Doctor Strange was involved, but, you know, not Wolverine, not freaking Iron Man. These characters would not have been involved in this type of series.
Heroes in a new light as you develop relationships and strengthen your personal bonds outside the field of battle. Every hero has a completely unique set of abilities, ranging from damage-dealing attacks to life-saving skills to epic game-changing finishers.
Game design looks very Marvel Contest of Champions. I'm feeling a little bit spoiled because of Marvel Future Revolution. Like, I'm literally looking at this and I'm going, yeah,
If your
every
superhero squad
development team
it's
deserves the
time to
right to
start
have their
fighting back
own,
the
you
forces of
know,
Lilith.
artistic
Combat
style for the games they have.
Sons,
It's just weird because I'm like, Jesus, I'm looking like a game that could have been last gen. Meanwhile, I'm playing a mobile game on my
The player
phone that's
controls a
next gen,
squad of
looks more
three
next gen.
heroes and is dealt a random selection of hero abilities, like a hand of cards. These abilities offer a vast array of tactical choices that expand exponentially when combined with the battlefield itself. Shove, leap, and smash your way to victory using the environment to wreak havoc on your enemies. Send the bad guys face first into a wall, into each other, or just right over the edge.
So I mean, the gameplay could be fun. I don't want to take away anything like that. Like, especially when you look at, I don't know if you guys ever played any of the TCG card games. Like Versus System was really popular game, very good game. Back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and you know, if they were to do something like that, it could segue into maybe something like that reappearing. But who knows? The game definitely looks like a mashup between Magic Legends and a game like from Larian Studios, the tactical RPG element game, with a high dose of the role playing. You know, you're basically spending a lot of time in this abbey. I don't know how much content generation they're going to be able to give to here, or how much they have the possibility of offending people by, you know, changing the characters, but so much.
For the player to enjoy. There's even a few lovable, if unique, pets.
Please do not try to sell us pets in this goddamn game.
And shared time together through daily activities. Take a stroll with Tony Stark on the Abbey grounds, or practice meditative yoga with magic. The choice is yours, but choose wisely, because every hero has their own preferences. Developing deep friendships can unlock powerful rewards in combat and in the Abbey. Use the spoils of battle to
So let me go back here just a little bit, because you can see some of the stuff up here on the left-hand side. If you look at it, you see that there's going to be various rewards or modes specifically inside it. So like, that's a training dummy, right? And it's going to be learning the ability Shove. But then if you look on top of there, you see some other things like teamwork, tactics. You even see Crucible and Threat Room. My first thought when I see those is Crucible is going to probably be some kind of PvP mode. Teamwork Tactics might be something similar to Special Operations. Your training dummy might just be, you know, just that, a training dummy where you can level up, you know, specific set features on a dummy. And then you see something like the Threat Room. When I see the Threat Room, I think of Marvel's Avengers Harm Room, where you're literally training up characters still against enemies and so forth. So this is probably some of the game modes that we could expect to see inside there.
Use the spoils of battle to earn new abilities for your heroes down in the Forge. Upgrade current hero abilities out in the yard under Blade's watchful eye. Find new hero ops and missions in the War Room with Captain Marvel, and much, much more. When ready, it's time to choose.
So you can even see over here, we literally now get to see some of the you can see some of the so okay, let me go back here. Let me try to rotate this, because there's a couple of things inside here. So you hear the War Room. That's the same thing like Marvel's Avengers, where we have a War Room table where we can deploy to certain missions and so forth, right? And then you see over here we have the ability to grab, you know, materials in order that we're probably going to have to use, because if you looked at the cards, they kind of, you know, coordinate with these colors. We're going to be collecting these materials in order to level up abilities and so forth, artifacts and blueprints and stuff like that to level things up.
When ready, it's time to.
And that war table, obviously, it looks pretty much the same as, you know, Marvel's Avengers, except that it's city level.
Choose your squad of heroes and return to battle. The enemy may grow more powerful.
The interesting thing about the squad of battle is that it's a 3-man team. I'm wondering, you know, if the hunter is going to be a requirement for each team. So we definitely got more trailer than we did actual gameplay in here, but then we get that nice little takeaway at the end. So we knew that you could get the exclusive Blade Nightwalker skin, and now we're going to basically the 7th, which should be next week Tuesday, we're going to get the ability to see the Hunter and Wolverine take on Sabretooth. So we know we're going to have enemy bosses. Given the war table is probably going to be similar to, you know, Marvel's Avengers in that regard.
You do know that I'm a good 3 centuries older than you, right?
3 centuries of sleep isn't the same as 3 centuries of actual being out there doing shit.
I don't go anywhere without my trusty dual disc. Except the airport. This thing does not make it through security. So you probably want to know just how the card system works, and you're probably itching to know all the ways you can customize your main story character, the Hunter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this segment where the Firaxis developers talk more about the dark sorcery behind it all.
Marvel Midnight Suns from the team of Firaxis will have favorites like Wolverine, Blade, Magix, and Captain Marvel fighting back.
So I can tell you, they don't say anything much inside here, so
thank you very much for having me. I'm fired up right now.
There's literally not much that's in here that wasn't told before. Obviously, he's continually to point out the fact that the universe that they have is not the same universe as what you're familiar with. So
oh yeah, I love XCOM.
What they do with that is going to probably be very different in the regards.
Between your game and the source material?
Yes, they're deep. So that is my favorite comic book event from when I was reading comic books as a kid. So yeah, the Rise of the Midnight Suns. It's this awesome early 90s like hair metal style supernatural event. It's probably the premier supernatural event in the Marvel comics.
It was a really good event in the comics.
Together all the supernatural characters.
Seeing Morbius and the living werewolf, Lilith. Like I said, one of my first characters I ever drew was Lilith and Blackheart.
Corner of the Marvel universe where we felt nobody else was at that moment, and it gave us our little space that we could tell our own story. And so yeah, it's a comic that I and my
like creating this
because we wanted the player to. We always wanted to have a customizable character, something kind of new for the Marvel Universe, because we wanted the player to be able to put themselves into the game. A lot of this game is about not just fighting in combat, but also developing relationships with the heroes of your choice. The way you do that is by being the Hunter. And so this Hunter, they have a narrative connection because in our universe, they are actually the child of Lilith.
Yeah, so this...
And allies. All the Midnight Suns come back after combat, just like you said. And so I think there's like
this 12-minute segment here gives us a little bit more of a deep dive, but it's nothing really that's exposing any more of the gameplay or things that are happening in the game.
I think that, you know,
I can't even believe we still asking these questions. Can Romance Blossom? Are we really still playing games for that shit?
And so we've kind of set up our own story. And so Tony Stark is still genius, billionaire inventor. But in our universe, he and Doctor Strange are being forced to work together, kind of this marrying tech to mystical. And they've got this very like at odds relationship. Pull them.
All right, I'm going to skip through most of this because I already watched it. You can check out the live stream on IGN's page. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The comment section was on fucking fire. There are definitely some people who are just like simps and just total fucking stands for freaking Marvel anything. So anything you give them Marvel is just going to be like, yay, 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 yay. And then there's a lot of us that were like, you know, okay, I wasn't really impressed with anything they shown in here. And they didn't show a lot. Like, you literally got maybe about, out of a whole hour-long segment, we got maybe probably about 7 minutes worth of, you know, stuff inside here. And most of what we got was legitimately just CG scenes. Like right now, it's just all CG scenes. So I guess the question is, are you guys excited about it? I'll still probably end up picking up the title for PC and playing it through. I do love a good tactical RPG, although this is coming out in March 2022, and I believe Larian Studios plans on releasing Baldur's Gate 3, the Dungeons and Dragon game, at around that time. Like, so I don't. Yeah, let me see when they're gonna release it. Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, man. I really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. So it's in early access right now. When the actual release date is, I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. Larian Studios likes to keep things in early access, and that way they can kind of work it to make sure that what they have is actually finalized and really good. So we could not see it by that point. I mean, but we could. Like, they're constantly giving hot fixes for the materials because they like to get things releasably ready and hot. But on top of that, I got other RPGs that I want to play, and I believe Diablo's supposed to be coming out. Also freaking Lost Ark is one of those other tactical RPGs, or I guess that's an action RPG that's coming out. So I don't know that this will necessarily hit the top of my charts ready to go, but I definitely will pick it up, most likely review it and give it its just due. I'm not as excited, waiting to see some more gameplay, some details like that coming through. We'll see. What about you guys in the comments? Let me know. Are you excited about this game? Is it up on your list? Does it rate higher than Guardians of the Galaxy for you? Does it rate higher than any of the other games that are currently on the slate? Are you would you switch over and give some time to this instead of Marvel Future Revolution or Marvel Future Fighter or even Marvel's Avengers? Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace.